Well, hello there. I'm Kim Berry, editor of Food and Drink Business. Welcome to Play, our weekly news roundup, brought to you by GS1 Australia, the only authorised source for your barcodes. For 50 years, GS1 standards have powered business to trade seamlessly, efficiently and safely. Learn more about the next generation of barcodes at gs1au.org. In the news this week, the financial reports keep on rolling in, with the A2 Milk Company, Coles and Woolworths holding court. All of them recorded impressive performances in revenue and earnings, while being similarly circumspect about the current market and factors that are at play influencing it. For A2 Milk, there are some particular spiky issues when it comes to its China market. Last year, the birth rate dropped 10% to 9.6 million, not ideal for an infant formula company, but there are other socio-demographics that are also having an effect, like the high rate of youth unemployment. That recently ticked over 21% for 16 to 24-year-olds. And the marriage rate, less people are getting married, and that's been falling for 9 years. Last year, 6.8 million couples tied the knot, which was the lowest since records started in 1986. Coles and Woolworths both said inflation had slowed and even retracted slightly in Q4. Coles faced many questions about its debt levels on its investor call, probably not helped by its announcement that issues with the construction of its Ocado fulfilment centre in Melbourne are going to cost the retailer an extra $120 million on an already eye-watering amount, to bring the total cost to $400 million. It's the third delay since the project was announced in 2019, and this one came as Ocado found issues with the construction during its quality control processes. Now, something that did make everyone wake up from their EBITDA stupor was the new CEO of Coles, Leah Weckert, announcing that stock loss increased 20% year on year. It turns out that cost of living pressures play out in more ways than us all just buying home brand products, with theft and organised retail crime increasing. Interestingly, Target in the US said that shrinkage would take $500 million out of its profits this year. In other news, the Australian Food and Grocery Council has released its annual State of Industry report, likening the industry to experiencing long COVID. It looks at data from 2021 to 22, so there's still pandemic-related disruptions, the war in Ukraine, and supply chain woes. AFGC CEO Tanya Barden said that while the sector's value rose 7.4% to $144 billion, it was driven by inflationary prices and recovering exports, and it's not reflected elsewhere in the industry. Capital investment was flat, and investment in the larger food product manufacturing subsector showed a 12.3% contraction. Kerry and Unigrain have announced a partnership in a bid to push growth in the oat-based alternative dairy industry in the APAC region. They're going to develop some applications together to show customers what can be achieved, but they're also going to recommend each other to their customers. APAC's alternative dairy market is worth around $5 billion US. We've got a rising star revisited up on the website this week with Be Fit Food founder Kate Save. If you want a very scientifically backed, CSIRO-endorsed ready meal, then look no further. Did you know our DNA can tell us if we have the obesity gene? Moving on. Gravity Seltzer and CBCo Brewing have joined forces to boost growth and capitalise on the growing demand for the seltzer on the East Coast. Woolworths has announced that its financial support for food relief agencies will increase to $13 million in financial year 24. And Seaforest has commercialised its emissions-busting livestock feed. The feed is made using seaweed species Asparagopsis amata, which when added in tiny quantities to feed, can reduce emissions by up to 98%. The company secured funding from the Advanced Manufacturing Growth Centre and as well as federal grants to develop the product over the last 18 months. We've also got a great story up on the web from researchers at the Institute of Sustainable Futures at the University of Technology, Sydney. They looked at the capacity of 3 of Sydney's 14 wastewater facilities to process organic waste. What they found was that just those 3 alone could cut 33,000 tonnes of emissions and capture 9,600 tonnes of nutrients. All 14 wastewater plants in Sydney could be modified to accept food waste. So the three alone could fill 20% of the gap in anaerobic digestion capacity that Sydney needs to address to meet its 2030 goals. It's a really interesting read. As I said, smart people are smart. So for all these stories and more, head to the website foodanddrinkbusiness.com.au. Don't forget to subscribe. Thanks to GS1. And with that, I'm Kim Berry, over and out.